Hi everyone, welcome back to the Halloween series we've got going on at the moment. So I'm doing today's intro with no makeup, which kind of hurts because my skin's an absolute mess. At this time of year, my skin just explodes with the change of season. So it's an absolute riot at the moment, so it's kind of upsetting me that I had to do this without the rest of the makeup on, but you will see by the end of the video why I really couldn't do the intro once this is done. So a couple of years ago when I started doing all my Halloween stuff, if you've been with me for the last couple of years, you'll have known my first sort of pinnacle Halloween look that I ever did was nailing my mouth together. Yep, I get up in the morning and think about the gory things I can do with my face, and that was the accomplished, finished version of what I can do at Halloween. And at the time I wasn't doing videos and I wasn't taking good pictures, and so much people to this day ask me how I did it, so I'm gonna do it. So today is gonna be super gory, super Halloween, totally out there. I'm not actually naked either. I've not dressed up for today because I'm going to do a little bit of work along my sort of décolletage area and bite marks and stuff, and I didn't want to really dress up, and I'm going to have a bit of a strapless thing going on. So if I look naked, I'm not naked, I promise. I've just got a strapless thing going on. But anyway, I better get cracking. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Thank you so much to everyone that's subscribed. I have a few people that said recently that they've subscribed and love them, and it's so nice to hear, so thank you so much. If you like it, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you again next time. Bye everyone.
So yes, hello, welcome back to the channel. And unfortunately, when I filmed this, I was hitting a really busy point in work, and I had 3 weddings, a wedding exhibition, and was totally jam-packed. So when I did start to sit down and record my narration for this, I've ended up full of the cold. So if you can't understand me at points, I'm so sorry, bear with me. I'll try and be as clear as I possibly can. Prior to this off camera, I've blanked out my eyebrows using Pritt Stick and a colour corrector. I've also popped a little bit of Pritt Stick along the top lip line as well. All girls, whether we like it or not, have little hairs above our lips, and when you peel off the liquid latex, it's going to hurt like a bugger, and you will thank me for that later. So I've done all my prep off camera, and I'm using liquid latex with the strips of tissue to build up my 3D mouthpiece. So just keep building and building, layering and layering until you've covered from left to right. And when you're finally happy with covering the bottom half of your face and the liquid latex has dried, we'll now start to cover it up and make it look like skin. I'm using the Vichy Dermablend foundation because it's a very full coverage foundation, and it's Opal, the shade I'm using, so it's not too light, as I don't want to make my skin whiter and the liquid latex whiter. I want to use a skin color to start off with so everything starts to blend, and then we can lighten it up to create that dead skin effect. So once you've applied a very generous layer of the Vichy Dermablend, as you can see, I'm using my beauty blender to evenly distribute this across the face because I have applied quite a generous amount on, just so that everything's fully covered. I go ahead and use my Snazaroo white paint and start to blank out the skin and start to make it look a lot more pale. So when you've got your base covered and you're happy with your dead skin, we're going to start hollowing out our details as well. Because as I said, we're dead, so we want everything to look nice and sunken. I'm starting off using my Bobbi Brown Old Hollywood palette because I like the grey, the matte grey that's in that palette. And I'm using it just under the socket, in my socket, under my eyebrow, really hollowing and sinking in my eyes. Now we might be dead, but we're certainly not cutting corners on our glam. So this zombie is using the Charlotte Tilbury collection, the purple that's in that, because it's quite a red purple, which will look good for a zombie makeup. And I'm a slapdash, really blending out, but not blending too precise, and hollowing out the eyes a little bit more, but making them look quite sore and bruised with the purple. I've also used whatever products left on the brush to start to hollow out my nose and add a little bit more depth in my nostrils as well. So I'm going to add a little bit more detail into the skin as well with this stippling sponge. I'm using a combination of my green Snazaroo paint, and I'm also using a Blood Ox sort of bruised paint pot as well to add a little bit of texture into the skin. I'm dabbing on quite a heavy layer so that it's quite dotty, looking like it's almost rotting, and then going over the top with my beauty blender to again make it look like it's under the skin rather than being too obvious on the surface. So I had a bit of a camera malfunction at this point, so ignore the fuzziness, but you can still see how gory and horrible it is. I didn't really need a focus for that bit, but at the moment I'm now going to concentrate on my décolletage and my shoulders. I've used a sponge and product to hollow out my cheekbones, and I want to do the same with my neck. So I'm using the stippling sponge to again create that rotting skin, and later I'll go in with a smaller, more precise brush to start adding hollow out details to my collarbone and my neck. Unfortunately, I did use another set of mesmerized contact lenses. I used the white ones that blank out your eyes, but they didn't really work. They've kind of made my eyes go a bit fuzzy, but they certainly didn't blank them out, so I was quite disappointed with those ones. So excuse how my eyes aren't possibly looking as zombies I'd want them to look. Now, you might think this part's funny, but I promise you, do not forget to do your ears. If you are doing a super tanned or even just a normal foundation, you would not forget your ears. So it would seem quite stupid to have a white blanked out face and normal pink ears. Always remember your ears. Okay, this is where it starts to get gory, so if you're a bit squeamish, look away now. I amn't using a knife. Please be careful when you're doing this. I'm actually using a nail file, just the end of a nail file to cut through the liquid latex to start to rip open where my mouth would naturally be open. I then move on to a set of tweezers just to slowly pry the skin, well, the liquid latex away from itself. You don't want to have a massive big tear at this part. You just want this bit to look like the sides of the mouth have slightly been torn open. And if you're unhappy with any bits that have fallen off or are holding down, just pull them off and throw them away. You'll start to add a bit more detail in this bit. So if there's ripped bits, the better. It'll start to look like more ripped skin. Now, I literally cannot stress enough. Zombie person says, be careful. If you are going to follow this bit, which is like the whole point of the tutorial, but if you are going to follow this bit, please be super careful with anything that you use. I don't want to be held accountable for needles, pins, whatever is actually going into your skin rather than the liquid latex. So please, please, please be careful. It's not my fault if you turn into a human poon cushion. So when you're popping the needles in, try and pull the liquid latex away from your skin so you've got a little bit of a gap to sew the needles into away from your natural skin so that you're out of harm of pinning yourself. And just gradually pop them in from left to right, staggered, however you want them, so that you get that pinned together look. And then I'm going to start adding some details. So obviously that's going to be really bloody and sore. So we're going to take our oxblood paint pot and almost start applying on the inside of the liquid latex, because when you peel the liquid latex away from your skin, the inside will obviously be white from the tissue. So you want to colour all of that in and give the impression that it's inside the mouth and that the skin's red and sore. Because if you were to open up your lips are naturally pink and red. So you want to give that real effect from underneath too, so that you're not giving the game away with white tissue. Also using it a little bit on the outside too, so you're starting to get that bruised effect where the pins would go into the skin. You can buy two different types of fake blood, and if you're a Halloween maddo like me, I've got the congealed blood and the runny blood. So right now I'm using a cotton bud with congealed blood on the end to start making that congealed effect at the side where the scars would be before I add in my liquid blood. Because of the way we've created the mouthpiece and pinned in our needles, the liquid latex will have almost created a few pockets at the side. So I use the runny blood and squeeze it into the pockets so that you're not actually getting any of this in your mouth, because it's not meant to go in your mouth. But because we're working so close to the mouth, you're in fear of that. So using the little pockets at either side, you can squeeze a good amount in there and then press your liquid latex so it starts to flow out of the scars. Off camera, I added a little bit more detail and actually used a bit of black eyeshadow to deepen the scarring around my mouth as well. And I also added a little bit of blood on top of the scars to give a more realistic effect. I, off camera as well, added a few layers of liquid latex on my skin, and this is where we'll start to create the holes in our body. So if you take a little bit of liquid latex, apply it to the skin, let it dry, and then add another layer, you'll start to get almost a layer of skin. And as you can see, I'm pulling it away from my natural skin and tearing a hole in it so we can start to fill the creases in with color. And it'll give the illusion that the liquid latex is skin, that it's peeled away from your natural skin and that there's a hole in there. And using a combination of our oxblood paint pot and black eyeshadow, we'll start to deepen those holes and make them look sunken. To these holes, I'm going to add some more fake blood, and I want it to almost pool in the hole so that when I put my fingers in there, I can smear it down my body and let it trickle out. I'm going to whack on a wig, as you'll see, and make some scary faces, and that's my completed zombie look. I had so much fun doing this, you guys, and I really hope you could hear me properly. I hope you have fun recreating it as much as I did, and I'll see you again next time. Bye, guys!